Hey there everyone, it's GG Silver Sun, and I'm hoping it's not too windy sounding. I got a pretty steady wind, but anyway, it's May the 28th. What? I can't believe it. Man, this year's gone fast. Surprisingly. Thank God. AA thought for the day from May 28th. In AA, we learned that since we are alcoholics, we can be uniquely useful people. That is, we can help other alcoholics when perhaps somebody who has not had our experience with drinking could not help them. That makes us uniquely useful. The AAs are a unique group of people because they have taken their own greatest defeat and failure and sickness and used it as a means of helping others. We who have been through the same thing are the ones who can best help other alcoholics. Do I believe that I can be uniquely useful? Yes! I have seen how my experience can benefit others. I have seen by the grace of God that in God's hands, the dark past is the greatest possession that I have. It can avert death and misery for them and give me a mission in life, a purpose that all my screw-ups were for, where I don't my pastor, one of my pastors, Graham Calgill, he's a mountain of a man. He's about 2 or 3 inches taller than me. But he says, was that God's will? I don't know. He said, is it now? It is now. And was it God's will for me to make all these mistakes? I don't know. I don't think so. But He gives me free will, and the mistakes have been made. So it is now. It's God's will now. The other side to that coin, I suppose, is that God is the great Redeemer. He can take the very things that can bring us shame and fear and guilt and remorse and use it to save lives, you know? And I can't imagine. God is awesome. Meditation for the day. I should try. 2 words that I try to leave. I just used it. 2 words that I have been focusing on avoiding in my vocabulary. I should try to practice the presence of God. I can feel that He is with me and near me, protecting and strengthening me always. In spite of every difficulty, every trial, every failure, the presence of God suffices. Just to believe that He is near me brings me strength and peace. I should try, to live as though God were beside me. I cannot see Him because I was not made with the ability to see Him, else there were no room for faith. But I can feel His Spirit with me. Yeah, and I within the past few years had this kind of revelation of God's omnipresence. And people will argue this till the cows come home. Like, God is either as far as I'm concerned, God is either omnipresent or He isn't. And so it's helpful and comforting to me to think that God is everywhere. He fills every fiber of my being. And so, to me, that is a comfort. And that helps me feel his presence when I think of that. So he's not just beside me, he fills every fiber of my being. How can that not be exciting? You know? God fills every molecule, every atom of everything, including me. You know, sometimes it's easy to look around me and think, yeah, this is all God's creation, you know, and it's wonderful, but I'm apart from it. No, I'm just as much God's handiwork as this ocean, those sand dunes, the clouds, those birds. And I'm not trying to become a, what's the word? I don't know, pantheist? I don't know. But, you know, some of our founding fathers of the faith, St. Francis, you know, he talked about brother stars, sister moon, and, you know, every depiction of him has like animals sitting on his shoulders and stuff like that, you know, because he believed that, you know, we're all part of God's creation, and therefore inextricably linked. And you know, that's a comfort to me. That's a comfort to me. That, you know, and so that's I'll leave it at that. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may try to practice the presence of God. I pray that by doing so, I may never feel alone or helpless again. And for me, again, it's meditating on God's omnipresence. Just that simple. And in the midst of my own, I don't know, I've heard this explanation that, like, what is the explanation? The explanation is that the evil one, the deceiver, speaks to us in first person singular pronouns. Now, I use that in AA as the disease, right? Because any kind of disease, dis-ease that we have in us, whether it's we think we're so special, unique, and different that we can't be helped by AA, huh? Nobody's ever thought that before, though, huh? But that's a dis-ease, and that's a lie. There's a reason that the devil is referred to as the deceiver. But here's the thing. The disease or the deceiver speaks to us not with, you know, spooky, scary movie voice, or we'd be like, oh, I need some help, right? He's more cunning than that. He speaks to us in first person singular pronouns with for me, a male voice, a pleasing male voice with a Midwest accent. Sounds just like me, and it says things like, you know, I'm a little too busy to go to meetings today. Go figure. I'm a little too busy to go to a meeting today. Maybe I'll just stay home. My house sure is dirty. I need to stay home. Right? Or that guy looked at me funny at that meeting last night. I don't think he likes me. And frankly, I don't think I like him. First person singular pronouns. Anything that keeps me away from AA is a lie. Even if it says, Jesus is the only thing I need. And I've heard plenty of people say that, including myself back in the day. And I believe that at its face value. But Jesus has spoken to me through the rooms so many times. You know? And personality conflicts, that's just another tactic of the enemy. Not saying that we need to get along with everybody equally, because sometimes people are jerks. But there's ways to deal with that. We pray for them. Page 552 in the big book. Pray for them. Pray for good things to happen for them. And what happens with that is it changes me when I choose to do that. Or I could complain and gripe and moan and go and talk to other people about that guy. Hey, do you think the same thing about that guy? Meh. Sometimes they go, yeah, that guy's a jerk. And we can all sit there and commiserate what a jerk that guy is, right? Or we can go to him and say, hey, not confront them, right? But be like, that was rude. And they may go, F you. They might, you know, and be like, okay, good luck with that. And frankly, there are people who create atmospheres in meetings. Create an atmosphere in a meeting. But what's going to change? Am I gonna wait till they change before I get some peace? Then I'm screwed. Then I had a sponsor, Joe, said, if the rest of the world is your problem, you're screwed. He used even more harsh language than that. And that's so true. I could live in this environment, right? Beautiful, on the Gulf of Mexico, beautiful water, white sands, and focus on nothing but the traffic. Mer, traffic, mer, tourists, blah. You know, and plenty of people do. It's really getting faked out by the enemy, getting faked out by the disease. And it can drive me back. I've seen it happen to too many people. I've seen it happen to myself. The enemy used marijuana, the most recent thing, coming up to almost 2 years, the end of July, since that debacle. It didn't drive me to drinking, but it did not, it didn't advance me, let me tell you. I put a pause on my recovery, basically, and reset my time, of course, because that's important to me. Not saying that every alcoholic needs to when they do something like that. That's not what I'm saying. That's what I did. For me, I had to. So, anyway, I hope y'all have a great day. I love you. Keep coming back. And remember, always remember, look up, aim up, rise up.